I like to talk to people a little bit about the difference between a 504 and an IEP. An IEP is for if your child needs to get remediation within the school day. And for most of you, I'm going to tell you that I don't recommend that. Okay? Because most schools cannot provide what your child needs during the academic day, and they're missing social studies, science, things that they can get the content area for, unless you know that your child is getting Wilson or some kind of orton-gillingham instruction. Having them miss part of their academic day isn't necessarily the best thing that they should be doing. So I usually will tell parents it's better for them to have a 504 plan. A 504 plan is going to be a list of accommodations that's specific to your child. The last thing a child should have to lose is one of the things they like about school. So don't let them take those things away from your kids. The best time for them to get pulled, if they're getting pulled during the academic day, is out of their English class. They're learning English just differently. Or out of a foreign language class. But don't let them take them out of art, or if that's their favorite subject. These kids are not good at regurgitation. So most of your kids, they may not be A students. That's okay. Most A students work for C, D, and F students, okay? Kids who know how to figure things out on their own. Many times straight A students just know how to regurgitate and tell what's being asked and spit it back. They don't know how to think. Just because you're straight A students does not mean you're smart, okay? It just means you know how to follow rules. And when you think about education, education really isn't that old, okay? Formal education. We homeschooled a lot longer than we ever had formal education. And formal education was to get ready for factory jobs, military, things that we had to kind of group instruct. But now we're at a point in our lives where we really need to teach kids how to think and be innovative. Because so many of the jobs that we used to teach kids to be able to do are no longer there. Machinery is doing it. Okay? So we really need to make sure that we advocate that our child needs that. So I recommend that all of you who aren't homeschooling, let your kids go to school for the first 2 weeks. Then after the first 2 weeks, don't wait for the first parent-teacher conference day. Set up a parent-teacher conference day where you can have as much time as you want instead of just that 15, 20 minutes that they allot. And say, okay, so you've seen my son or daughter for the last 2 weeks. Here's what they're really good at. Would you agree? And here's where they're struggling. Would you agree? Let's work on a plan together as a team that we can agree upon that will help him or her succeed for the year. And let them know that you're on their team and that you want them on your team. I mean, it's all a team approach. I think too many times we think that schools are out to get our kids, or the teachers think that the parents are out to get them. So it needs to be that whole team approach. And then be nice about it and make sure that everybody realizes you understand that we're all working as a team. No teacher wants to leave your child behind or not do a good job, but sometimes they're ignorant as well. But they're so smart, they just must be lazy, Oh, you didn't tell me he was dyslexic. And even that, so he reads backwards, so they still think that. And dyslexia is a language difficulty. It has usually a lot to do with reading, but sometimes you can be an avid reader and still be dyslexic. That's expressive dyslexia, and that's with written expression. Ben Foss, he's dyslexic, and he has a wonderful book called The Dyslexia Empowerment Plan. I truly believe one of the things he says is, after 3 or 4 years, if you're using orton-gillingham and it's not working, try something else. And I would agree with it. And some children are going to need to learn to ear read as opposed to eye read. It's a lot easier if you can eye read because that's what's standard. Everyone's eye reading unless you're blind and then you're braille. But he ear reads faster than most anybody can eye read. And that means listening to it on tape. So get your kids' books on Kindles. I put on every table literature about Learning Ally. Learning Ally is sort of like Netflix. Are going to have to become the experts, okay, about your child and what they need to succeed. And so they need multi-sensory language instruction. They need things broken down for them in small chunks so that they can really hold on to it. And when I say multi-sensory, that means they have to hear it, see it, and write it.